Hello friends, I had a visitor yesterday and she brought me a present. A couple of lovely Jerusalem artichokes, something I've never grown before, something I don't even think I've eaten before. But I've just been reading up on them a little bit. Now is the time to plant them in some well dug fertilised soil, so I think this counts. There's one, there's the other one, and they're going right in the middle of bed number 2, just here. This area is going to be my peas and my beans. I've already sown some peas there. That's what the sticks are for, to support them as they come up. And this area over here I still haven't really decided about. But this spot just here, I've decided today, is going to be for Jerusalem artichokes. So there we go. I was quite worried overnight because it's been very windy, as you can probably hear. Still pretty windy this morning. And it rained quite a lot. As you can also see, the ground's very, very wet and muddy. And I'd left my cabbage seedlings out, and I hadn't meant to do that, but it happened anyway. So I was thinking I would come over here this morning and the tray would have blown away completely, or the seedlings would have just been killed off by the rain. But my worries were unfounded. Everything is absolutely fine in cabbage land and coriander land. So I'm feeling pretty good about that. It might just be time, I think, to at least plant the coriander out just over in the herb bed, just over there, where I've already sown some coriander seeds, but none have come up. So, thinking about that. But the good news is the red cabbage seedlings are doing absolutely fine. They're not ready to go in the ground yet, I don't think. They're not big enough. There's no real true leaves on them yet. But they're resilient, and that bodes well, I think, for later in the season. Now then, yesterday when Chrissy came over, who gave me the Jerusalem artichokes, we also sort of spontaneously decided to go to Hume Community Garden Centre in Manchester. Hume in Manchester, so if you're ever in that area, please go and visit there, because it is absolutely fantastic. It's a lovely little environment. They've got all sorts of strange and unusual plants for sale, all sorts of community activities going on, gardening related. So I picked myself up a few while I was there. I couldn't resist. The first one is Comfrey, which I've been hearing a lot about from my permaculture course and other sources and stuff I've been looking at online. How wonderful this plant is as a fertiliser and various other things. So I've just been looking into that a little bit more this morning, and I've picked out a spot for it. It's going to go just here, in the inedible bed, as I like to call it. It's going to be a spot that gets quite a bit of sun, as you can see, quite well exposed. I'm just going to leave it for a little bit because it's only a baby before I plant it in the ground, but it is going to go there. And a couple of other things I bought. Allotment. This one is Deadnettle. As you can see, white Deadnettle. So called, I believe, because it looks quite like nettles, but as you can see, it doesn't sting you at all. It looks even more like catmint, which is quite interesting. So I'm going to learn a little bit more about that before I plant it. But I believe it's pretty good for attracting insects and butterflies and that sort of thing. I think that's where I've read about it already. And finally, third one, Majoram, golden Majoram, if that's how you pronounce it. I'm never quite sure. Beautiful colour, look. And again, I need to read a little bit more about this before I pick a spot for it. but it's a beautiful herb. No real smell to it just yet, but I'm a bit bunged up today because it's been cold and damp, so maybe that's just me. But anyway, another herb for the collection. Just thought I'd share that with you. Well, here's an interesting thing. I don't really know what it is, but I was just digging about and I found this kind of moss, pine cone shaped protrusion growing on a dead leaf. Sorry, I'm just trying to keep it in focus here. I wonder what it might be. I love moss. It's amazing stuff. There we go, there's a better focus of it. But look at the way it's just growing off that dead leaf there. New life from old. Amazing. Well, I think that's all for today. So please, as ever, like and subscribe and comment. Share if you're that way inclined. Thanks very much for watching. I'll see you again soon. Peace and love.